Welcome to another episode of the Legendary Sports Podcast, Fantasy Football Edition. I
What
am
up?
Jared Michelson.
And
That
I
is
am Antoine Beeks. I'm the
a
glitchy one.
yes, he's in the Matrix.
I am in the Matrix.
He's in the Matrix.
Hey, nothing wrong with that, right?
That's
Nothing
right,
wrong with being
man.
in the Matrix.
No, not at all. Not at all. That's hey, we just use the technology that we have at hand. But today we are going to be talking a little bit more week one recap, but we're talking about the injuries and we're going to be talking about some free agents. So,
Man, so if we talk about injuries, let's just dive right into it,
yep,
man.
let's get into it. Give
Give
people what they
give
want.
give me your Aaron Rodgers take, man. I mean, it's from a football standpoint, it's bad, right?
Yeah,
From a fantasy point, it's bad. It's bad all the way
it
around.
does. It takes down the offense. So it kind of makes me wonder, Garrett Wilson being an end of the first round, second round pick, does that hold weight? Or is he more of a 3-4 with Zach Wilson, taking the helm? Can he give him the work? He got a touchdown, Zach, right? So can he still be serviceable? He was serviceable with Zach before, too. Don't forget the rookie season between Zach and Mike White, right? There was a combo of that going on, but I still think he's startable. I think he'll just, again, the expectation for the ceiling goes down, right? The floor may drop a little bit too. He might have a couple of 30, 40-yard games and no touchdown. So just be ready for that. But you got to start him. You invested too much. You can't not start him.
I feel it. I feel it. I feel it. His value definitely drops without Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely a 3-4 now. In those rounds, I would have loved to get him in a 3-4 area.
So
However,
for the rest of the season, this is a good question to ask. Is he a wide receiver 2? Does he end up in the wide receiver 2 by numbers, or does he end up as a wide receiver 3? I don't think he's gonna go down to a 4. He's too talented, but
no, he's too talented to be a 4. However, his quarterback play puts him to a 3 for me. I think he's a wide receiver 3. So if you guys have a 2 wide receiver league, he's got to be your flex. I think he's a flex guy or a wide receiver 3 guy. I'm just not sold on Zach Wilson. You pointed out that he was very serviceable, and at where he was taken within the first or early second round, you're not looking for service there. You are looking for flat out production week in and week out, and I don't think that he gives you that with Zach Wilson at the helm. I just
here's a
don't think
crazy
that
question,
Zach Wilson does it.
Tutu Atwell or Garrett Wilson?
Garrett Wilson, just because Garrett Wilson is Garrett Wilson, he's just too
gotta
talented,
ask.
man.
Just gotta ask.
He's just too talented. Tutu Atwell is a deep guy. He likes to take the top off, and Garrett Wilson is just too talented.
Gotcha.
But
I'm trying to do some comparisons because people are going to have these guys on their team. So, just trying to do some comparisons to if you have to start him over, like, let's say a better example would be T. Higgins or Garrett Wilson.
T. Higgins.
Oh,
T. Higgins. T.
Gotcha. Higgins. After a goose egg out there.
Hey, you know what? They struggled all the way around the board. That was a struggle all over. But you know
funny.
what? It just is what it is, and they're gonna get better. They're gonna get better for sure.
No, I just try to do some comparisons on that because people are going to have those battles on their line or on their team, right? You're going to have to figure out who to shuffle around, who's going to be more consistent, whose floor is worse, whose ceiling's better. Like,
yeah. I mean, you draft, like you said, you drafted Garrett Wilson to be Garrett Wilson. So let Garrett Wilson be Garrett Wilson. I wouldn't give up on him, but I don't think he's gonna be 1,400 yards. 8 TDs like we expected.
One more comparison then. Garrett Wilson or Calvin Ridley, someone who you drafted more in like the 6th round, 7th round.
Calvin Ridley.
I agree. I agree. I think Calvin Ridley is going to be that guy. His quarterback is still, Trevor Lawrence is struggling a bit, but more consistent than Zach Wilson. So I agree with you there. I think it's going to be Calvin Ridley over Garrett Wilson with Zach Wilson running the show.
So just some more injury news, right?
Yep.
You
On to
talk
the next.
about J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins is also done for the season. I wasn't real thrilled with what I seen from the Ravens. In week one,
Yeah.
but
Overall,
then
it was
again, it's
bad.
it's
Yeah,
week one. But I do like Gus Edwards. I think Gus Edwards now turns into a two
I do. I agree.
running back. I think he turns
Mhm.
into a two. I think that that's
Yeah.
somebody that you guys should hit the waiver wire for because I'm sure he wasn't on a lot of teams. It was a shared backfield, mainly led by J.K. Dobbins,
Yep.
but we've seen Gus Edwards take the load before and
Yeah.
be that number one guy for them. And I think that he puts himself into a RB2 spot.
Yep. And outside of the game last week, he hasn't averaged under 5 yards of carry in the roles that he was in. So he's always been about 5 yards of carry. So he's a guy that can first, second down back, move the chains. It was a weird situation with Justice Hill getting the goal line work and stuff like that. That was unique. That's not really Justice Hill's thing. So I think that will end up shifting back to Gus. I think they're probably giving him a little bit more time too, just to kind of, you know, get back because he was hurt last year too. So I think he'll be the guy. He'll be the 15 to 18 touches, goal line work type of player, a good solid RB2 by the end of the season if he can stay healthy as well, with Justice Hill, playing sparingly to relieve him on some of the downs. So, but I agree with you. I think Gus Edwards is a good pickup, a big free agent pickup for waiver wires this week if he's on your waiver wire and available. Absolutely.
So that leads us to another running back in Aaron Jones. He pulled his hamstring on that big catch and run from um, Jordan Love.
Yep.
He pulled his hamstring late in that game, and it's looking unlikely that he's going to be back this week. They're going to try to rest him so that
AJ
he can be
Dillon.
healthy for the rest of the
See,
season.
this is why I love Aaron Jones, but I don't draft him because he's always a soft tissue issue away. It's every year, it's like right there, just a soft tissue issue away. I love the talent, love his skill. He showed it when he was out there, right? I mean, what he had like 26 fantasy points or something like that.
Yeah.
In PPR leagues. So like he's a dog. He can play ball, but soft tissue issues will get you, man. Soft.
They will, man. They will. Hopefully, it doesn't keep them out long. But if you guys have AJ Dillon, I would start AJ Dillon this
I
week.
wish I had grabbed him so many. Oh man, because I just knew it was gonna come. I knew it was gonna be there, and here it is.
You just didn't know it was gonna happen so soon, huh?
Exactly. Now, for the people, are we talking as AJ Dillon as an RB1 in this situation?
No, no, no. Of course not. Of
You
course not.
don't think he's an
We're talking
RB1
to
because he can catch the ball and he's a tank. He's a 3 down back. If Aaron Jones wasn't in the way, he could run the show in the offense.
Nah, I'm not sold. I'm not sold here, right? And if I was right, if he was that good, he would take Aaron Jones' spot because
Well, I'm
Aaron
not
Jones
saying
is a
that,
lot old.
but that's
Aaron
just
Jones
it.
is a lot older.
But if they're parallel, what I'm saying, and Aaron Jones is the just more senior guy, right? The more trusted guy, then when Aaron Jones drops, why would he not just slide in?
No, I don't see him that way. You see him that way.
Interesting.
I don't see him that way.
I think
Even
he's
with
an
Aaron
RB1.
Rodgers, even with Aaron Rodgers, he did not get any of that type of workload. It still remains to be seen for me, and I'm sure a lot of other people. He can catch the ball, right? He's in the NFL. He doesn't get to the NFL playing running back without being able to catch a ball. However, we just haven't seen a lot of them in that role, and I'm not sold. RB2, yes, while Aaron Jones is out, but I'm not being sold that he should be an
I
RB
just can't
one.
think of 11 running backs that I would take over him. In a 12-team league, I don't know if there's 11 running backs that I would be like,
I got one since we're talking it right. I was gonna save some kind of free agent pickups for later, but I wasn't mad at Tyler Algier. Him sharing that backfield with Bijan
not
Robinson.
going to be an RB1 by the end
I'm
of the
so
season.
I'm by the end of the season.
No, he'll be an
No, he won't be
RB2.
by the end of the season, but neither will AJ Dillon. I thought you were just talking about for this week. If we're
No, no,
talking
no, no,
about by
no,
the
no.
end of the
I,
season,
yeah, yeah, no.
no,
I
no.
think he'll be an RB1, but this week for sure. I think AJ Dillon will be an RB1 this week. He'll be in the top 12 of RBs by the end of the week for sure.
I don't think so. We'll better drink on that one.
Okay, I'm in. I am in. I'll take it.
I don't
He's
think
playing the
he's
Falcons. You don't think he can get numbers up on the Falcons?
no,
I
no,
will bet
no.
that. I will bet a
Okay.
meal. I will bet a meal he'll be in the RB1.
Okay, we'll bet
I'll
a
bet you
meal.
dinner. I'll put dinner on that
Okay,
RB1.
the people have seen it and we have spoke. So all right, guys, start AJ Dillon.
Yeah,
Start
I'm
AJ
telling you,
Dillon.
but you better put him in there. Barring injury, you better put him in there.
Hey, I think you should start him too, but I don't think he's going to be in the top
I will
12.
trade for him if I get to start him this week. I will trade for him to start.
Hey, so another guy who pulled a hamstring and is very unlikely to play this week is Deontay Johnson.
That's who he is.
Deontay Johnson. he pulled his hamstring in that
Yep.
game as well, so he's gonna be out.
George Pickens.
Yeah,
Pickens.
I
Going
like
up,
Pickens, man.
baby.
I like Pickens. It's just Kenny Pickett throwing the ball, man. It does. Deontay Johnson was out last week, right? He left partially through the game.
Mm-hmm.
What did what did George Pickens do?
I talked about it in the other podcast, man. That offensive line let him get destroyed. Just like how you're hating on Justin Herbert, and we proved that one wrong. By the way, when you talked about Trevor Lawrence and they weren't close, but they were close by the end of the year.
Hey, all I know is George Pickens played, so did Kenny Pickett, and it was still the same thing all the way around.
That offense looked bad, though. Everybody looked bad in that offense. The only person that did anything was Pat Fryermuth. Thank goodness for him. Start Pat Fryermuth. Free him. But
no, I can't. Pat Fryermuth.
Pat Fryer was a good tight end, though. He again, if he was on a team that utilized tight ends a little bit more, he could be like Heath Miller, man. He could be out there catching passes, blocking. He's a good tight end. But you're
like
right.
Pat
Young Kenny
like
does hold back the team a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be long before he figures that out. Like, this is only year 2 for him, and I think Two Glove Kenny will get there. So I got faith in him, and I got faith that he'll be able to sustain a good at least 1 or 2 weapons on that offense. Najee isn't doing anything. He's not offering anything, so they got to throw. So
oh man, remains to be seen. We'll see what happens. What happens.
But it does boost George Pickens regardless, because someone's got to get those targets. Somebody has to. Now, also, Calvin Austin, we'll see. Maybe he becomes the number 2. Don't know if that's fancy relevant yet, but just keep an eye out for something like that. So, and start Pat Fryermuth. Start him for sure.
Start him. Fryermuth outdid my boy Dallas Goedert for Philly, and I was a little upset with that. But hey,
yeah, that was I was kind of surprised with Fryer. I like Fryermuth, and I wish I had drafted him, but I wasn't all confident and all sold on him yet, because like, again, young tight ends, you don't know. You don't know yet.
Yeah.
So,
is there anybody I'm missing via injury that has likely
larger impact?
Larger impact on their team?
Now, I don't know if it's going to be large or not, but there are a couple of people of interesting note. So there are a couple of people, Kenneth Gainwell and Anthony Richardson. I'll start with Kenneth Gainwell, and then we'll go to Anthony Richardson, just because I don't know if his is temporary or not, but or how long it's going to be for either one of these guys. But Gainwell did get the majority of the touches for the Philadelphia Eagles. I believe he had 13 of the running back carries, and had like 50 some yards, got most of the work. So I would say that maybe if he's out, maybe DeAndre Swift gets a little more of that rushing work, and maybe that shakes off the rust, gives him some confidence to be the RB1 on normally a good offense. So that could be big. I don't know if that will stay long term, but for the next following week, it could be pretty good. And then Anthony Richardson, he got Pittman involved. He had Pittman for 97 yards. I think it was 8 catches, 97, and a touchdown. So, I mean, I don't know if Gardner Minshew pulls him back super far, because he's done it before, right? Minshew has, so he might be able to keep Pittman relevant enough to keep him in your starting lineup as a wide receiver 3, but that's just something to keep a watch on as you're putting your lineups. Like, okay, do I trust this situation? Can Gardner Minshew supply my wide receiver 3, could be a 2, with the volume and work and quality that he needs to be relevant on my team to help win me my week, not take my team down. So just something to keep in mind. Not that Anthony Richardson was anything, wild, but he keeps the defenses on their toes a little more than Gardner does because he can run. So
there you go.
that's
I
my two
like it.
cents there.
I like it. 2
But
cents
yeah,
in the bucket.
but with all his injury talk, this leads us into now free agents. Because of some of these injuries, who do you need to fill the void with on your team, right? Who do you need to go pick up if you can't get some of these guys that are direct replacements with handcuffs, like Gus Edwards for J.K. Dobbins, or I'm presuming that DeAndre Swift is already picked up, but if he was available, DeAndre Swift for Kenneth Gainwell, whomever, right? Or AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones, who can you pick up to help with that? Well, leading into free agents, we'll talk some running back talk because there's been a few that had some pretty good performances. And one of those guys is Josh Kelly for the Chargers. Now, to me, if the Chargers are going to be like this, and it seems like a lot of teams are going to do this, they're going to do a lot more split work on that run game with their running backs. He had 16 carries, I believe, and it was like, 90 some yards? Let me look that up here. But he got a lot of work, and if that's the case, he could be someone that you pick up on the waiver wire here. There we go. Josh Kelly football week 1. Fill the void.
We want to talk about running backs while you search that up there.
Yep. Fill the void.
One that shared a
15
backfield.
carries, 91 yards, and a touchdown. 5.7 average. That's with Eckler out there. So,
well, here's another running back that played pretty good with his number one running back out there as well was Chuba Hubbard, 9 for 60. 9 for 60, 2 receptions for 10 yards, 6.7 yards a carry. So I like Chuba Hubbard. He could probably play your flex spot, or if you're in a pinch and running backs, I wouldn't be surprised to get Chuba Hubbard in there with him sharing that workload with Miles Sanders. Also, Miles Sanders fumbled last week, so he's on a short lease.
Fair. Another one I look at is Zach Moss for free agent pickups because Deion Jackson did nothing to impress anybody, and he fumbled too. And so that's wide open for Zach Moss to come in there and start taking some of the rook here. There's the rookie Evan Hall also left due to injury, so that leaves wide open if Zach Moss and his forearm are okay to just come in and just be the guy.
I like it.
Yep. So, and then
Another
obviously we
one.
talked about Gus Edwards. So we're doing running backs right now. We'll switch to the other positions for possible. But right now, then Gus Edwards, obviously we talked about being another one. So
Tyler Algier, we talked about Tyler Algier. He had 15 for 75. 15 for 75. He actually had 2 touchdowns.
He did,
which was really good for him.
And more of a receiver than normal. Usually he doesn't catch the ball a lot. So that was also very impressive for Tyler Algier. Oh, and Kyrene Williams for the LA Rams, because I don't think Cam Akers is the guy. I don't think either of them are super the guy, but they trust Kyrene Williams to be the goal line guy. He had 2 touchdowns.
Yes.
So the Cam's 1. So I think that if they're going to do this, I hope they stick with him, because they did this last year where they used him a little bit to get Cam Akers agitated, and then Cam Akers stepped up finally. But I'm hoping they just keep Kyrene Williams the guy, because clearly Cam Akers is not. And I feel bad because it's the Achilles stuff, but that's just the way that it is. And then if Kenneth Gainwell is available in your leagues, even though he got hurt, I would say still pick him up and stash him.
There you go.
Just for when he returns.
So let's talk some receivers here. I got Rashid Shaheed.
Oh yeah,
from New Orleans. He stepped up, man. He had 5 receptions for 89 yards and a TD. I was definitely surprised seeing that Mike Thomas was back, but he definitely played a big role for those guys. So if you're looking for like a flex or somebody to just see where it goes and
Yeah,
stash,
crazy catch too.
yeah,
Crazy
I'm
catch.
thinking Rashid Shaheed.
Yeah, I agree. Rashid Shaheed. Another couple for me are Puka, Nakua, and Tutu Atwell. So I like them. Someone's got to catch the ball. Look, it's not a crazy offense, but if Matt Stafford is healthy, it can turn back the clock. People forget Matt Stafford won a Super Bowl. He can throw the ball. He's a baller. All right. So now somebody's got to replace Cooper Kupp while he's down for a little bit. So that being said, it's got to be one of those two guys. So if either one of those two guys are available, what does it hurt if you can fill the void on your team? If you can't get one of the running backs, and if you're in the running back need, at least fill your team with the receiver, and then make the shuffle around on your lineup from there. But
Puka Nakua. I like him. He
yeah,
was very solid this week.
rookie.
He is very, very, very solid this week. He had 10 receptions for 119 yards.
Yep.
Um, something about those receivers down there for the Rams, man. They just find some
Yeah,
random guys and they
against a
do it.
decent defense too. The Seahawks, they're not a defense to snuff at. So it was good to see these young guys, be able to kind of step up and give something for Stafford, because that didn't happen last year. Van Jefferson was supposed to be that guy. He couldn't do it for them, and so
Yeah.
now now those guys hopefully are the ones that are filling the void that's needed for McVay's offense. So I
So
like that there.
one that I feel like this guy keeps getting slept on, but he just hangs around, and he makes a couple big plays a game. They don't throw the ball a lot there in Chicago, but Darnell Mooney, man, he makes plays.
Yeah, he keeps finding his way back up. I agree.
Yeah, so Darnell Mooney, look out for Darnell Mooney.
Yep.
Um, and another one that I was very surprised at. Not a lot of work, 2 TD grabs though. And he was targeted a lot, 11 times. It was Kendrick Bourne.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was gonna be Juju. A lot of us probably thought it was gonna be Juju, but
Mhm.
Kendrick Bourne has been in the system for what is it, 3 years now, 2 or 3
Yeah.
years now. And I think that him and Mac Jones are finally start to connect, and we'll see them connect more this
Yeah.
year.
And he was helped by the injury of like Tyquan Thornton and Devontae Parker, I believe. But I don't think that those guys are gonna be much threat when they come back. I just don't think that they have the juice anymore. Tyquan Thornton, maybe he's still a young guy, but Parker, I don't care. And some other quick names of note: Zay Jones, Allen Robinson, Romeo Dubs. Those guys could be relevant too, especially if Christian Watson misses time for Dubs.
Josh
Allen Robinson for
Reynolds.
Deontay Johnson, and Zay Jones has been a guy since last year. I know we talk about Christian Kirk, and I love Christian Kirk, and he's going to get his up and down work, but Zay Jones can't be slept on. He was great for Trevor Lawrence last year, and he's picking right back up again this year. So on a sick catch too in the end zone.
Yep, definitely. Um, One, like I said, Josh Reynolds. I had Zay Jones as well on my list. I like Zay Jones. He's been doing his thing.
Should we give a couple quick tight end shout outs? Maybe if you're
Couple tight
desperate at
end
tight
shout
end and
outs.
yours didn't show out, like
Hunter
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 Henry.
Henry. Hunter Henry for sure.
Yep.
Hunter Henry. Hayden Hurst wasn't bad either. Hayden
Yep.
Hurst
Hayden
played
Hurst
a
got a
really
tutty.
good game.
The first touchdown catch for Bryce Young. So, hey. Yep.
Um, I'm not sure. I mean, I feel like Mike Gesicki is out there for a lot of guys, but I don't think that he's going to pan out to be anything, man. That's kind of sad. One that
Uh,
I think people are kind of sleep on though. I'm sure you probably slept on this one too. Tyler Conklin coming
oh
back
yeah, Tyler Conklin. I did not. Yep, did not have.
coming back with Zach Wilson. He only had one catch. He only had one catch for 2 yards. But
Yep.
last year, this guy was a stud when Zach Wilson was throwing him the ball. He just was out there super performing.
Yeah.
He was the
Fair.
second leading receiver behind Garrett Wilson last year. So I
Mhm.
wouldn't be surprised to see him get some big volume down there for the Jets with Zach Wilson being back.
One more I like is Juan Johnson for the Saints. I know there's a lot of mouths to feed in the Saints, but I think they're going to let Carr throw a lot more than normal. I think as that offense starts to click and move, I mean, they weren't the worst offense out this week, you know what I'm saying, by any stretch. So they weren't the greatest either, but um, I think that as they get more confident and comfortable, I think that he could be a guy in the goal line. Not a lot of yards, but I think he could be someone that gets some touchdowns on the goal line stuff because he's a pretty athletic, big tight end. So, and Derek Carr likes his tight ends. Look at Darren Waller in that time in the Raiders. So you know that's how he likes to play the game. So
Most definitely, most
yeah.
definitely.
No, but this was good. So keep an eye out for those free agents. Keep an eye out for the injury updates that come out on Wednesdays. So to see what you got to do for the rest of the moves throughout the week, because that's when the report drops. So it's gonna get interesting. Week 1 is in the books. And shout out to the Jets for somehow pulling off a victory against Buffalo. Josh Allen, if he is, this is just a random insert, but if people are not confident in Josh Allen for any reason, trade for him because I think this will be a fueling game for his mentality. Because he's a baller, so because he played
3
awful.
interceptions, man.
He played
Sheesh.
and 2 fumbles, 1 lost. So so a lot of turnovers for Josh Allen, but don't sleep on that offense. But if everybody's worried about that based on that performance, get Diggs, get Davis, get Cook, go for them. This is the time to buy low.
Hey, shout out to just a couple shout outs since you shouted some people out. Shout out to the money team for taking down Bijan's drunken, what is it? Bijan's drunk son Samuel.
Oh
If you
yeah,
guys don't know who that is, that is Jared.
that's
That's
me. He got
Jared's
me. He got me week 1.
fantasy team.
Yeah,
I got
in the
him.
big money league too. You got me in the league that really matters, the big money league.
And so
But
just a
I'm
couple.
gonna give Jake a call quick so he can talk to you real fast. So
Ah,
I know you ain't with there.
just just some top performers this past week from the spots. Quarterback Deshaun Watson was he I if I'm not mistaken, he was the best fantasy quarterback this weekend, right? No, Tua.
Tua.
I'm sorry, Tua.
Yep.
Tua.
Tua hands down.
Tua. Shout out to Tua. Aaron Jones had a really good week. Shout out to Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, the only reason I won my last week was because of Tyreek Hill in our one league because T Higgins giving me 0 did me no good.
Shout out to TJ Hawkinson. And
Yep.
shout out to the last two. The Dallas defense with a shutout and Jake Elliott with crazy, crazy points for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Saved him. Shout
So
out to Green Bay's defense, too. They actually did pretty well. Got a touchdown out of there. Thank you, Quay Walker. Boom. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. And shout out to the combo of Bijan and Tyler Algier, man. 2 20-point running backs basically in 1 week. Wow. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy.
yep.
No shout out, though, to Desmond Ritter and the wide receivers and tight end of Drake London and Kyle Pitts.
I told you to stay away from that receiver room. I told you to stay away from that receiver room.
I had to draft Pitts because there was nobody else left, and now I don't even know what I'm doing with him. I don't even know if I want him.
I told you to stay away from him, man. But
funny. But hey, we appreciate y'all.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Stay tuned for more. I'm Antoine Beeks.
I'm Jared Michelson. We'll catch you on the next one. We out.
Peace.